Hello, Com Theory class. My name is Eric Ruiz, and today I'll be doing my presentation over Chapter 15, the Elaboration Likelihood Model. Within the chapter, I'll be focusing on the two routes to persuasion, the central route and the peripheral route. So psychologist Richard Petty figured that audiences have two mental routes when deciding to accept or reject a message. The central route to persuasion involves message elaboration, high source credibility, and a type of scrutiny that ensures the ideas have true merit. The peripheral route, on the other hand, is simply a mental shortcut to accepting or rejecting the message. There's not much digging into the subject under this route. Instead of doing much cognitive thinking to make sure the message is true, the peripheral route simply relies on cues that trigger a program response. Things like everyone is doing it, you owe me, or quick before they're all gone are types of cues that trigger the audience to accept a message without or reject it without giving it much thought to what is actually behind the message. I think a great example to showcase how speakers attempt to use each of these routes to better persuade these audiences would be this past year's presidential election. Senator Bernie Sanders solely relied his campaign of persuasion towards the central route in hoping that presenting hidden facts would help persuade voters to vote for him. Sanders constantly emphasized how the other candidates, Clinton and Trump, were funded and backed by banks and big business industries by presenting how much money was given to each presidential campaign and then later compared it to his campaign funds and the origins of where it came from. Though these facts presented by Bernie gave a background idea of who was backing the presidential candidates, it still wasn't enough for the American public, and they saw no use in these facts and completely rejected it and him as well as their president. Donald Trump, on the other side of the spectrum, relied much on the peripheral route of persuasion to help get voters on his side. His simple slogan, "Make America Great Again," is an example of a scarcity cue that triggered a program response. It showed voters that if you don't vote for him, then America will go back to its democratic ways and continue to crumble. Also, Trump was good at bashing the history, lack of credentials, and simple character of his opponents to better present himself in a better light and more fitting for the job, though he has no political experience whatsoever. Trump also took advantage of his image as a businessman. Since business since his business led to success, Trump ensured to the public that he could also lead America's businesses to success. It worked in his advantage as the American public feared to have a liar as their president and instead have a bashful, aggressive businessman as their leader. So, as the book describes, most messages receive a middle ground attention between the poles, but there's usually always a trade off somewhere while the message is being presented. But I hope these examples each give y'all a better understanding of the different routes a speaker can take when trying to persuade the audience. If y'all have any questions or feel different, feel free to base your opinions on the peer review, and hope you'll have a great end to the semester. Thank y'all.